Here from Precision Market Trading. This week's video is on Fmg Fortescue Metals Group, one of the big three iron ore miners in Australia, behind BHP and Rio Tinto. You'd all be aware that there's been a lot of the iron ore price has collapsed from over $1.80 a tonne to under 50. So it's been very unhappy days for everyone. This share, because of that, has been pretty well massacred. After the top way back for the GFC at 13.15, it went down to $1.16. By the way, that was a 144-day run. So whenever you hear me rave on about 144, be very mindful of that. That's the biggest short trade you're ever going to get in your life in such a short period of time. Then we went from this low over to the very recent low, $1.61. And in my opinion, this could be a very, very strong potential low. Looks terrible at the moment. The conservative trader would touch a 10-foot pole. But doing the numbers, I believe there's a bit of potential here. As you know, last week we went right into the gold stocks and a couple other shares, and we were right into the number 233. But once again, as in Newcrest Mining, we're 233 weeks from major top down to the recent top before the collapse. Now we have 233 weeks from the rebound top at 734 here down to this week. We also have from the very all-time high 367 weeks, which, as you know, is part of my circle, 365 and a quarter days in a year. And going to give you another little long-term futures market lesson. The range down was 11.99, and the time between low to recent low is 23.88 degrees. For futures traders who would have been around back then, the all-time top in 1987 before the big crash was 23.87.5. Now, I mentioned a few weeks ago on the video, the price I gave there was 23.62. That is correct. That was for the December contract. Back then, though, the contracts used to go right through to the end of the month. These days, the contracts expire in the third week in the month. And this is where the volume changed over, 23.88, 23.87.5. I did a lot of work years ago, time and price on that price, and it worked very well going forward. But anyway, getting back to this, 23.88 divided by 2 is 11.94, which is only 5 points off the range. So as I said, the same numbers keep coming up and up and again. You just got to go back, look over a few markets, see the numbers, download them into your memory bank, and they will keep coming up and up and again. This takes time, I know. But it can be very profitable and very fulfilling when you get a handle of it. So that's the weekly chart. Let's go back to the daily. So this is bringing it a little bit closer, starting from the 734 top we had down to the recent low. As you also remember, a couple of weeks ago I mentioned how we went through all the futures prices, highs and lows, giving you your time and price. As you would have mentioned, I mentioned 1184, which is the 1991 first Gulf War low in the futures market. And from this top, which is 618, down to the recent low is 1184 degrees. So numbers come out in clusters. The more you look at it, you'll see the same numbers coming out again and again in clusters and around the same time periods. And then another time period, other numbers will come up. The low over here is 161. I remember 2 years ago, there's a lot of ranges, a lot of prices coming around 160 to 161. It was fascinating. And now we've got this price at $1.61. Also, I mentioned a few weeks ago, the number 491, the All Woodbridge Index, from its November 7 top to its March 2009 low was 491 days down. Same as this, 491 degrees. It's a very strong time cycle in bear markets. And if you look through my blog, quite often I've mentioned the midpoint rule. It's something I discovered a few years ago, which I've used it to great profit and benefit. And I use it for double tops and double bottoms. Here, obviously, we have a double top here, 618 and 622. We also have a double bottom here, 281 and 287. 287 being 2 times 144. The time from the 734 top to this low was 875 degrees, and then transferring the cycle over again over to the midpoint, excuse me, that was my text message going off, over to the midpoint to the recent low was 876 degrees. So what I'm looking for is balance. I'm looking for the same time cycles. That top to bottom, midpoint between the lows to recent low. So there's a lot more. I've done a lot of work of Fortescue over the last couple of years. This stock hums beautifully to this system. Some of the stuff I could show you if I had the time would blow your mind. It is definitely higher power stuff. There's a greater visible hand moving over some of the markets. So I don't discount any of it. But it'd be too confusing for most at the moment, and I'll try and keep, I was told recently to keep it simple. So I'm trying to do that. I will give one caveat though. This, as I said, there's a lot of strong stuff coming up in this low. I would not like to see this low get broken. If this low gets broken, I think Fortescue could be gone and then hands to the bankers. Personally, I wouldn't like to see that. Andrew Twiggy Forrest, the guy who brought this to the market, is a good man. He does a lot of good work, Aboriginals up in the Northern Territory, water saving. He's a great philanthropist. I would not like to see his wealth collapse with a collapse of Fortescue. So we are buyers. We bought here. We're now having a series test, just like we're having a series test in Slater and Gordon. We'll see how it goes. So we'll keep you updated on this. I might even post another couple of charts in a few days once we see how it's worked out, and giving you a few more pointers on the internals of the market, because this stock is quite fascinating. So good luck. Talk to you soon.